And it was a lot of fun. And I think, that you guys who are listening to this, you might appreciate that. So I would check that out. Go to walkerstalkers.com if you're interested.
I'd like to listen to that.
We all asked each other questions.
Yeah, that seems like kind of a blur to me. So I
listened to it again.
Was it good?
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm the girl on the panel.
That's right.
That's how you can pick me out.
I also, before we get started today, wanted to mention that we just did a Chad L. Coleman interview. And did you listen to that at all?
No.
No, okay. This is his intro. Check out, I loved his intro that he did for us.
Hey everybody, this is Chad L. Coleman. I play Tyrese on The Walking Dead. Hey, anybody seen Carol?
That's good, huh?
It is good. Anybody seen Carol?
And here's his zombie sound.
That was good.
That's Brittany there.
Oh, Brittany.
So, Karen, you had a meeting and couldn't make it, so Brittany filled in, and she was awesome. Thank you, Brittany. And I forgot to give her other podcast, a plug. So I just wanted to mention to you guys that she does a podcast called Once Upon a Podcast about Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Her and her friend Amanda. And so you should check that out. If you go on iTunes, and just the easiest way to find it that I found is search on Once Brittany. And if you liked her during that interview, then you'll like her podcast.
She's great.
Yeah. So, huge show today, obviously, after this big episode. We also have Under the Comic Covers because an issue of the comic recently came out. So that'll be with Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. And we have Comic Talk with Jaden. But for now, let's get going with the main event.
Attention, shoppers. Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5. This week, it's our top 5 highlights for Season 4, Episode 8, Too Far Gone. Is the show gone too far? It looks like it.
People, we're here for you. We're here for you. Let's all work through it together, shall we?
What do you call it? Support group?
A support group. Yes, a support group.
Or the death of the kindly bearded old man.
Yep.
Aww.
Yeah.
And what do we have to say about that?
Fucky, fuck. Herschel.
Not Herschel.
Fuck.
What do you think of the episode?
I liked the episode a lot. Mm-hmm. I thought that it had some great action, and I also liked that it was a satisfying comeuppance for the governor, and that was nice.
He kind of got
really
killed
good.
Twice.
He got killed 3 times. I mean, Rick tried to kill him.
He kicked Rick's ass.
He didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
Michonne put a katana through his heart, but that didn't seem to stop him. He has some staying power. But finally, Lily did the deed. And then also, so it had that nice, satisfying crunch of the governor dying, but it also had the chaos at the end with groups being scattered. I have some problems with it too, but overall,
wait. Let's
felt
talk
great.
about that part. So Michonne stabbed him through the back, and why did she not finish the job?
I think he was clearly not going to recover from that particular wound. And it was probably, she was done. She's like, you know what?
That's the look on her face.
Walkers are going to get you.
You're not worth it.
No. No.
Yeah, I think she just sort of was like, you're not worth it. And also maybe a little bit like, I want to let you suffer.
Yeah.
And then, but I also think one of the reasons why they did that was that so that Lily could kill him. And that's sort of a reflection of something that happened in the comic. Oh. So that was a good little shout out to comic readers there.
Were there a couple shout outs in the episode?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
a lot.
Nice.
This episode had a lot from the comic.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I can't wait to. I haven't even heard Jaden's segment yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I might listen to it. I don't want to be spoiled, but I do want to hear the things that are
this is
similar and different.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. And so, what else? You said you had problems.
I
Overall,
did.
You liked it. What's your score?
3.95 out of 5 brains.
Okay, mine
which is pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.4.
Oh,
I liked it a lot. Yeah,
out of 5 gags.
I loved it actually, but the only thing that maybe detracted a bit was that it really didn't have much to do with zombies.
No, it didn't. You're
but
right.
that's fine. I mean, that's totally okay with me if they do an episode like that sometimes.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it also very much could have come at the end of season 3. And
totally.
why do this whole 8-episode arc to arrive at a place they could have arrived at a long time ago?
I you know what, I actually kind of agree with that a bit. But here's one big reason why that I thought it worked, because the theme of this season so far has been, can you come back from doing bad things? And so, the governor, he attacked the prison actually twice last season, but one major attack. And now it was like, okay, now Rick is giving him a chance to come back from that. So, and there, that theme has echoed a lot throughout the season.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still get it kind of, but I think that at least that makes it feel like kind of literary to me.
Yeah.
Like, here's your chance. Nope, you blew it.
Yeah. Well, some of them are, as the title goes, too far gone.
Yes, and the governor is apparently one of those. And I thought that, yes, if they had built to this is the episode that everybody wanted at the end of last season.
Yeah.
And if they had been able to build to it, then people would have just been so satisfied last season instead of left. But I'm, even without that whole thing about like the too far gone thing, I'm glad that they came around and did it well, because it's sort of like
me too.
When you meet someone and you make a bad impression and then you go back and you do it right, you're like, yes, I got to do it right.
Yeah. I mean, and let's talk about that. So
let's go. You go first.
My number 5 is Goodbye, Governor. I mean, enough already with this guy. I'm tired of that psycho, and it was really gratifying to see him get the katana through the chest, right as he was squeezing life out of poor Rick. So that was pretty nice.
Do you want there to be more villains after the governor?
Not quite like that, maybe, or maybe eventually. But I'd like there to be some other stuff before that. I mean, I was excited, actually, if you'll recall. I was sort of happy when the outbreak of whatever illness that was, because I thought, finally, okay, something different. Because we've been focusing on this for a long, long time. Woodbury jail.
But so if there's a different kind of villain
prison
somewhere down the line, you'd appreciate that, right? Me too. I mean, I'm glad he's gone too. And I want some more villains to come and for them to be killed as well. And there's some in the comic. There's one in particular that you comic readers know who I'm thinking of that is just as good and prominent as the governor, but in a very different way. So I can't wait for this guy to come onto the scene. You will like him too.
It's not a little girl? Because I'm thinking there might be a little girl here.
Oh, that's true. She might be the next villain, yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
So, okay, the governor. I liked the whole part where he's at the fence, the pulsing music is playing, and I listened for the music actually, because last week you mentioned the music and it was playing again. It was like a heartbeat, and it was pulsating. And he's standing at the fence, and my heart started.
That's like his theme, the governor's theme.
My heart started racing, and God, it was terrific. So I really like that. Now, having said that, I also think this is a good opportunity to say that I felt like the writing was sloppy, and that it has been over the last 3 episodes. And my serious issue is that I don't believe that the campers would have listened to the governor and agree to follow the plan. So it was great to see him die, great to see the confrontation itself, but there's no way the campers would have agreed to jump into this. I mean, as David said last night, and he said it really well, he's like, wait a second. You remember when I think it was Alicia who said, okay, I'm in, after he talks for just a second. So David was like, some guy we barely know talked about it for 2 minutes. Well, good enough for me.
Okay, so
let's fire up the tank.
Here's the thing. The governor, they gave him 2 episodes, right? And I mean, basically, the governor lived last season, so you wonder, is he going to find some more people and come back and attack the prison? Which is what he did. And people were complaining that they took 2 whole episodes to do that, but they had to cram it in his finding a group building up enough influence to be able to lead them into those 2 episodes. So I agree that it felt very abbreviated to believe that he would be able to do that in that short amount of time. But on the other hand, if they'd given it the full, 10 episodes where you would have believed it, then no one would still be watching the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
More governor episodes so that you can believe that he would be able to convince them. That's not what you wanted, right?
Or that this whole thing never happened. I mean, what I would like I would like for it to not have been 2 pointless episodes leading up to this episode, which I really wanted, except I wanted it last season. Yeah. I just didn't believe that a guy that they barely knew would talk them into being a militia to take over people's camps. I mean, I understand that... I mean, especially because they had a problem even with Pete stepping up and saying, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna be your leader."
Pete
and then
was insecure.
You think so?
Yeah, he came off that way anyway. But so here, let me. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here. I know. I see what you're saying, and I agree that it did seem a bit unbelievable. Partly, I think that the governor was with the group for a while that they didn't show,
right?
Right. But also what they tried to do is show him saying, okay, these people are liars and thieves. He said that they killed my daughter. They are murderers. It made me think of how we all kind of viewed Randall's group, not all of us, but a lot of people who we never knew, right? It's like, ooh, they could be bad people. They're scary. And it's like all of this group of people that the governor is now with, they don't know anything about Rick and company except what the governor's told them. So to them, they're killers and thieves and murderers, and they have this place where they could be safe. And why should the killers and the murderers have it? And plus the one guy who had the tank, he was raring to go before the governor ever came along. Yeah.
Mitch was kind of crazy. Yeah. But it's hard for me.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, I see that. I see that. And Lily was the voice of reason saying, we don't need to do this. There's plenty of other things we can do. There's lots of alternatives. It seems like they all jumped on okay, let's go. They fired up their pitchforks and torches.
But Tara, even she, when she started to see, wait a minute, this isn't what the governor said. She changed her mind. She's like, this guy seems like an okay guy. Then she saw the governor chop Herschel's head off, and she's like, no, I'm out. We're like... this is not what he painted it to be.
Right.
So the way they wanted us to feel was he successfully lied them into believing that was the right thing to do.
Sure. But I think that's sloppy writing, but because I didn't believe it at all. I kept going, whoa, what? He talks for a minute and you're ready to go and kill all these people? I just don't see it, but all right.
They also do things shorthand a lot on this show, so that you don't have to be bored. Like, for example, I noticed in one of the governor episodes, the very first time that the governor is going out into the woods to find that survivalist with Martinez and the other guys, somebody's saying, yeah, he's a survivalist and we can probably use some of the stuff in his cabin. And it's like, well, you probably would have already had that talk,
right,
but we don't want to show them having that talk and then going. So they just show him having it on the way. They make it a little unbelievable in order to cut down on the time that we have to spend.
And I don't mind that as long as they do it well.
I see. Well, I didn't think that was done well. I thought, wouldn't they have already had that talk done? But then I'm like, I guess I can excuse it because they don't want to bore us.
Right.
Stuff like that. But anyways.
What's your number 5?
Okay. Mine is just the stuff. Wait a minute. I'll turn the page here. About the situation with Carol that came up in this episode. First off, I thought I actually, everybody was like, let's get past these governor episodes so we can see what Daryl's reaction is to Rick having left Carol out there. And then Rick told Daryl and he got mad and then he got over it in about the space of 30 seconds. And I was like, ha ha. That's how I felt. I was like, see, that's what you were like ignoring all this great TV for. But I thought it was interesting. Daryl was upset, but he seemed to sort of agree. He said, but then they were like, well, let's go tell Tyrese. And he was game to do that. So it wasn't like he was, I don't know. I got the sense that he wasn't over it necessarily, but he definitely, it seemed like less of a reaction than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of surprised by that.
Kind of had a whisper argument.
Yeah.
They were using they were definitely using their indoor voices.
Yeah, but then what I thought was interesting is that Rick told Daryl that Carol didn't seem sorry about it.
Yeah.
And which I think is important. And, if she did seem sorry, then I would have thought maybe Rick did the wrong thing. But anyways, Daryl said, that ain't her.
Yeah.
And I thought, along with the other stuff in this episode, I'm like, maybe that isn't her. Like, he knows her better than anybody else.
Right.
So I'm wondering, keep going back and forth on this, but did Lizzie kill Karen and David?
What about the squirrel art wall hanging? The dubious wall hanging. That, by the way, you probably will be able to purchase on Etsy.
That's Exhibit A. Tyrese finds rats splayed out and nailed to a board. And it reminds him of the rats they found around the fence. And he says, we got a psychopath living with us. And everybody's been calling her a psychopath.
Yeah.
Exhibit B, Lizzie's arguing that they need to be strong and protect themselves, just like Carol told her. And then she kills.
Has no problem killing humans. Yep.
Which probably wasn't a bad idea, but still, it's a little chilling.
Yes.
And then Exhibit C, the whole thing about him saying, or Daryl saying that ain't her, and it's like, oh, maybe they did it, and I go back to what I said before I flip flopped, which was maybe when Carol said, Rick asked her if she killed Karen and David, and she said yes, she really meant that she caused them to die because she trained Lizzie to be a killer.
She put the gun in Psycho Lizzie's hands.
But she still didn't seem sorry about it. And later on, after that, she was still telling them to be strong. So I don't know. It still seems like she's okay. If Lizzie did do it, maybe Carol was okay with that.
Yeah. By the way, it's funny that if Lizzie was the person who killed Karen and David, which would piss Tyrese off.
Yeah, and they're together at the end. Like Tyrese goes chasing after Lizzie and Mika and saying, we're supposed to go this way. So you get the...
ironic that they ended up saving Tyrese. So, I mean, he could be mad at them. How dare you kill Karen and David? And, hey, but you did save my life. So, okay, we're
it's
even.
all a wash.
It's a wash.
But it's interesting that he went off with them in the end. So that's another thing that makes me think maybe she did it, because why would they
stack them up
together?
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Mm-hmm. Good.
I thought it was hilarious in our podcast panel when somebody asked all of us who each of our favorite characters were, and Eric of Walker Stalker said, I think Lizzie. He was kidding, but that's funny.
It is funny. Okay, my number 4 is Rick's speech, which we played at the beginning, and
loved it.
Yeah. I think Andrew Lincoln gave a beautiful, beautiful performance. He's so good. I mean, he does desperate and trying to hold it together better than just about any actor. He's really got it down, and it's a beautiful speech. And
I'll read it. Because I didn't play the whole thing. He said, and I'm not going to do it in Rick's voice. He said, I fought him before, and after we took in his old friends, they become leaders in what we have here, except for the dead ones. No, he didn't say that part. But he said, now you put down your weapons and walk through those gates. You're one of us. We let go of all of it and nobody dies. Everyone who's alive right now, everyone who's made it this far, we've all done the worst kinds of things just to stay alive, but we can still come back. We're not too far gone. We get to come back. I know we can all change. Which I thought was
super sweet and hopeful, totally great, and beautiful.
And I'm so glad he said that, because it's the kind of thing that I always think, like, why doesn't somebody say something like that, know? And he said it, and the governor is too far gone. So
and you could see Herschel at that point. He smiles, like he looks at Rick, and I think he looks at him with a mixture of like pride and also, I mean, he just loves it. He looks at him like he just is. He loves what he's hearing. Like, Rick gets it, and at that moment, the governor lifts the katana from Herschel's neck,
and the music starts to get kind of hopeful.
And then you think, oh, is it going to get better? Is it going to get no? He's just going for the good backswing.
Right. And I wasn't thinking that. I'm like, bullshit. He's not getting back. But I liked how for a second they showed, I think it was from the governor's point of view. And the camera tilted and he kind of was looking over at Rick. And
yeah, sweet.
It was interesting.
Until his head got chopped off.
That wasn't so sweet.
What's your number 4?
Well, it was kind of that. It was just the whole theme of Too Far Gone and that speech. And I think when I heard that speech, or at least when I thought about it later, it made me think of conflict in the Middle East and how long that's going on. And it's easier to dig your heels in and fight. And that's what people do sometimes. Yeah. And it's too bad, you know? And I know, I mean, I don't know. I just think that very same speech could be given over there and be just as applicable.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. That's really nice. Yeah, exactly.
But the governor's too far gone. And it was interesting. Like he had this road rage kind of thing going on or something. Because, well, I'll get to that part later. But the zombie girl that some of our listeners pointed out at the end, they focused in on the zombie. Clara. She's the one that Rick got lured in by in an earlier episode.
He's my husband's just ahead. He's just ahead.
And he tried to kill, or she tried to kill him. And she said, I think her last words were something about how we are too far. You can't come back.
Can't come back.
And so
well, she can't, but
well, she kind of did.
Other people.
See, you did come back. There you are. But it's interesting to me that it's the ones who gave up, her and the governor, that ended up kind of destroying themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I want all you people to remember that it's never too late to start over.
That's right. Yeah. You can come back.
That's one to grow on.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, my number 3. I like that everybody is sort of at loose ends and that the group has been sort of
dispersed.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that.
And that they're gone from the prison. Yay!
Yay! See a prison set. Yeah.
Maybe they'll go to another prison.
Yay. We're at the county correctional facility.
Prisons are good.
Hopefully, what my hope is.
They should go to a water park. Because it'll be fun.
It would be awesome. Yeah.
You can get the zombies going.
You know what? You've got to figure that like
slides.
Disneyland or Disney World has big fences all around it,
right?
Right?
They did that in Zombieland, right?
They sure did. But okay, so Disneyland or Disney World, any sort of theme park has fences up. So just clear it out. Just send Daryl in to clear the whole thing out, and then enjoy.
Have a blast.
And then have a good time. I hope that it seems like they have a plan, and it seems like although they are dispersed, I think they're smart enough to have a strategy for finding each other again. Hopefully they seem to have like thought about the bus before, and
I think that's the only thing they thought about.
Maybe. God, it'd be nice if they also had like, okay, and if anybody gets left behind, the bus will come back by the prison in another day.
There's a mosquito working waving.
God, it's so annoying.
Well, it's like the end of season 2, but then they all met back at Sophia's car, remember?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have a spot like that. Maybe they've picked out...
They should just go there again.
We'll meet you at the intersection of Highway 32 and... Well, Highway 32 has no intersection since it's just circular and always leads back to the prison.
Yeah, they'll find each other. There's only one road. But, I mean, come on. This is... grist for drama to show them all on their own for a little while. Yeah, right. They're not all going to come back to a meeting point at the beginning of next episode. Yeah. We're going to see what it's like when they're looking for each other for a little while.
Yeah, I suppose that's true too.
Yeah.
Even Lily looked like she was still alive. I mean, after she wasted the governor, it looks like she's still around. And
yeah. Oh, yeah. So I wrote down where people ended up.
Oh, good. Let's hear it.
As far as I could tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but I think Glenn was the only one of our major characters that was on the bus with the rest of the Woodburyans.
Yes.
And he's all sickly.
Yep.
Maggie, Bob Stuckey, who got shot, but it seemed like a clean wound, and Sasha are together.
Yep.
The thing about the baby, that's...
The last kicker?
Yeah, so the kids had her, but then later they came up and they didn't have her, and that's when... Lizzie shot Alicia, and then the other two kids ran away like they're psychos, but Lizzie and her sister stood firm. And then Tyrese was there, and he was like, come this way, but they went a different way, and he followed them. So I was thinking maybe that they hid the baby somewhere, and that's why they were going that way to go get the baby.
Going to grab the baby. Oh, yeah. I like that.
Hopeful.
Yeah. You know what they need? They need one of those baby Bjorns.
Yeah, we talked about that. Remember, I said you should wear it as a backpack so you have a buffer in case the zombie can't find you.
I do remember that. And maybe they can make a baby Bjorn out of Kevlar.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Hear that,
there you go.
Bjorn?
There you go, baby Bjorn. It's your next product. I like it.
As you said, Tara and Lily, as far as we know, are still alive, but they're separate. And Alicia had told Tara, follow me, but if we get separated, go someplace safe and hide, and I'll find you. Well, that's not going to be happening, but maybe
Tara's going to be waiting
somewhere. Yeah,
Alicia, I'm right here.
She'll be coming. And then we saw Lily shoot the governor, but she was by herself.
Right.
Daryl and Beth were together. Michonne was with Rick for a second, but then she decided to stick around and
regard the governor.
Yeah, regard the governor, and then I guess she's by herself. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Carl and Rick are together.
Seems like you would know where Rick was because Rick was yelling, Carl! Carl!
Yeah.
So, I mean, he yelled loud enough for everyone to know, oh, hey, there's Rick.
Marco!
Polo.
Okay.
You're number 3.
The governor's folly. So the governor had a chance to just join up with the group. And I believe that Rick was sincere in that.
Sure.
And Herschel too.
Okay.
But it was interesting to me that the governor's response to Rick's big speech was liar.
Liar.
Which that's different. Saying liar is different than saying, for example, that's not true. We can't, work together, or you can't come back. Like, I don't agree with you. It was more like, no, you're trying to deceive me right now.
Yeah.
The governor, I think, thought he was being deliberately false just so that he could have the advantage and then kill him or something.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't trust anybody. It's like when people are in a marriage and one person's cheating, then they always think the other person is. They're paranoid because that's where they're coming from.
Oh.
That's like a pattern, and he is used to deceiving people like that because he does it all the time. He exaggerates and stuff. Like in this episode, for example, he told his group, the people who destroyed the camp I was in with Martinez. Well, kind of. It wasn't really a camp, and he really is the one who went in and destroyed it. But anyway, he said the people in the prison were thieves and murderers. Yeah, I guess so. And they mutilated me, burned my camp, killed my daughter. Well, they killed his zombie daughter. So it kind of makes me wonder how much of this he believes. But it really seems like he knows that he's at least exaggerating in order to get people to do what he wants.
Yes.
He knows he's lying. And so he thinks my theory is he thinks Rick does the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Because he's coming from a place where he knows that he's been a liar. So yeah, it's all deceit to him.
And then the other folly is when Herschel says, if you understand what it's like to have a daughter, then how can you threaten to kill someone else's? And the governor says, because they aren't mine. And I hate that, where if you don't know somebody, or people who don't know other people, just say, fuck them. That's his huge folly.
Which is, and it's funny too, because that Megan is not his either.
I know, but he's taken her on.
He sure has.
That's true.
But Megan's no more your daughter than Herschel's daughters are your daughters, Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
One thing I didn't believe that he wouldn't kill Michonne in front of everybody. Because A, he has a vendetta against her, and B, it would be more shocking for him to kill this powerful person in front of them, I think. Maybe not, because Herschel's beloved and everything, but the only thing I could think of was, besides the fact that the writers don't want to kill Michonne off,
right,
is maybe he was saving her for some serious torture later on, or something like that.
Or maybe she was just so beneath his regard. Also, Herschel was engaging him in conversation. He was saying it could work, and
he's like,
then he
you
jumped.
shouldn't get his attention, right?
Yeah, better not make eye contact. He might charge.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was ironic that the most grounded, wise, and loving person in the entire group was killed by the most hated and psycho of the group.
And then he died, so the two big deaths were those two.
Right.
Before, I forget, when the governor says, kill them all, that's like when he's telling the tanks to go in and he yells out, kill them all. That's totally from the comic, a big giant page with big letters, kill them all.
Really?
Yeah. So even though I was hating the governor, I was like, yes.
So can I ask, what would have happened if Rick had simply handed the prison over to the governor? Mm-hmm. What I was hoping, because I saw this coming just like everybody else did. I knew that the governor wanted the prison. So I was thinking, well, clearly Rick is outgunned. He has tons of sick people. If a psycho shows up at my doorstep with 2 hostages, people I love, and tank, and a well-armed militia, and they all show up at my house, I'm letting him have whatever the hell it is he wants. I really am. Instead, he said you can leave by sunset. So it would have been enough time to gather supplies, fire up the Hyundai, the Harley, and the school bus. Mm-hmm. And instead, he chose to fight. And they lost Herschel, Judith, maybe. And they lost a lot more. They still don't have the prison. A whole lot more died. Tons more people were injured. And if they had just given them the prison, they could have regrouped and come back and shot the governor. They would have known where he is and he'd be a sitting duck. Or they could have just left for good since the prison wasn't such a great place anyway. And who wants to live long term in a prison? They could have found another place. Maybe there are whole towns and cities out there. I always thought it was a mistake to just stay in one place. So
yeah, that's a good point. I feel like when Rick said that, part of me was like, yes. And that's that kind of, I don't know, this is like lustful feeling that you want to get away from in these kind of negotiations. Yeah. You want to be more measured and do things that aren't,
don't let pride
like ego and prego. Yeah.
Right. Prideful. And it was almost an ego thing. Like,
you're probably right.
God damn it. This is my home and you're not taking my home. And I was thinking, well, you know what? You got to also know when to turn and walk away, live to fight another day.
In real life, I think I would have hoped that he would do that, but I'm kind of glad he didn't for the show because it was more exciting.
Yeah. And it would have been an anticlimax if he had been just like, okay, give us an hour and
maybe an hour and a half.
And there's the we'll roll up the gate and
just so you know, there's good fresh water over here.
Here's how to work the pump.
But I do consider that almost a flaw on his part. Although I still have that part of me that was like, don't take any shit from that asshole.
I know. Which is why it was so satisfying to see him katana'd and shot and punched.
Okay. My number 2 is the whole fight, which was, I think, the fight that people wanted in season 3. It went on a long time. It was pretty magnificent. Lots of firefighting and
creative stuff too.
Tank. Yeah, creative. Sometimes a little too creative, like the thing with Daryl using the
grenades.
Zombie for a shield.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought it was creative, but would machine gun fire not go through a body?
Especially one that is zombie, virus ridden.
But I liked that the zombies started filing in because then we at least got some zombie stuff in there.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
Cool. The zombies had to file in. But I wonder if people on the show were like, they criticized the finale, let's give it to them this time. I wonder if they thought that.
Did you like the grenade in the gun?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
me too.
Down the barrel of the tank gun. I thought that the way the governor formed, this is nitpicky, but formed his posse's cars, he had the tank in the back and then it was a U shape with the other cars up front. I thought it was weird. Wouldn't the most strongest vehicle be the point and then the other cars come back from that? I didn't understand why they would do that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. What do I know?
All that military training, Jason, it seems to have really led nowhere.
I thought Rick yelling out, I don't make decisions anymore, was kind of a weird thing. It was like, don't talk to me. I just work here or something.
We got a council.
Yeah.
You gotta fire. You gotta file a whole agenda memo and get it on the agenda.
Yeah.
We're meeting next Tuesday. Let's see if you can get it on the agenda.
Fill out this application. I wonder if you think that Carl had a good idea to just shoot the governor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
I kind of think so too.
And Daryl talked him out of it, but
Yeah.
David at the time was like, shoot him.
Yeah,
Shoot
just
him.
do it.
But
and
I
maybe
just-
then the tank would have started just firing. That's what
It
Daryl
would've
was
been a lot
afraid of.
worse.
I don't know how could it have been much worse.
I don't know. Maybe
I
I don't know.
Maybe Rick would have died.
Yeah.
He should have anyway. I mean, once the firing started, he kind of ran away.
He's
but
Teflon coated.
right out in the middle of there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want him to, but just where he was totally vulnerable and
His
open.
sheriff training came in handy.
He should have done a roll or something. That's what Michonne would have done. I love the whole thing with Tara, how she was, I actually like that she was the first one to say, I'm in. But as soon as she realized that, like Rick, especially when Rick offered, hey, you guys can all come in now, we'll be fine. And she like looked up like, yeah, well, that's good, right? And then when the governor cut off Herschel's head, she's like, no, I'm not with this guy. And I loved how she looked all shell-shocked the whole
She
time.
freaked out.
It looked so realistic
Yeah.
to me. How
She
you
did a
might
good
Yeah.
shell shock. Do you think she's still alive?
Yeah, because
Just
I
hiding
think they would
somewhere.
have shown her die if she
Right.
wasn't still alive.
Hopefully she and her sister found each other again. I mean, I don't blame them, but in the future, Lily, pick a better boyfriend.
But wouldn't you say that she came around a little faster than Andrea did?
Yes.
Like Andrea had a chance to kill him and didn't take it.
All right. Give him the best night of his life and then kill him. Okay, best night of his life. Check.
Yeah. But Lily gave him a few best nights, and then she killed him.
He got some nook. That's for sure.
I wondered if the governor had so much more people and firepower, then why did it go so badly for him? And I think it's just he let his rage get a hold of him, and he didn't need to roll that tank through and pretty much ruin the prison.
Yeah.
But the worst thing that he did was he underestimated Michonne and dropped his guard. And if you underestimate Michonne, you deserve to die.
Screwed. Yeah.
And then just seeing the prison fence go down, speaking of that, I was like, yes, no more prison. I'm now glad that they did extend it into this season because I think we've gotten some great episodes out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that they didn't have it go the whole season like I was thinking they might. And now they're doing other stuff.
Yes.
Which is cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
And then the last thing is just, God, I was bummed that the governor was totally kicking Rick's ass and probably would have killed him if it wasn't for Michonne.
He looked all
He was messed up.
He looked like he was being choked out. He really did. They did a good job on his makeup. Woo. He looked bad. And he was coughing and Carl. Yeah, he didn't seem good.
I bet he was really choking himself knowing Andrew Lincoln. He gets into it.
Aww.
He's going, watch, I'll do it right now.
Ego. All right.
Okay, number one.
My number one is Herschel. I'm going to miss him so much. I think Scott Wilson, especially the last 8 episodes, was wonderful and just a pleasure to watch every scene he was in.
Last season, too.
Yep.
Like season 2, he was pretty good. But last season and now this season, he's just been great. Yeah.
The voice of wisdom and the voice of reason. He's been, fantastic all along. That shot of him right before the sword when he smiles, what Rick is saying is especially beautiful. And like hearing the truth makes him happy. And
I do think he feels like it was his influence too. Like he imparted that to Rick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So
like a proud father kind of thing.
Right. Exactly. So it was heartbreaking and awful. And I cried. I'm going to miss Scott Wilson in the show. I really am.
Too.
I don't know who else is going to be who's going to bring the same kind of heart and wisdom and loveliness as Herschel.
That's the thing. That's the one thing is it feels like they want to keep younger people around. And the cynical side of me is like, okay, is that to attract the young audience? But they have a lot of young people who are different from each other, but not as different from each other as Herschel's different from them. Mm-hmm. And so you really did take out a very distinct element of the show by letting him go.
Yeah.
When they could have gotten rid of Beth or even Maggie, and it wouldn't have been quite the same effect.
Yeah. What's your number one?
Just about Herschel, I just wanted to say that he's not my number one because I knew you would have him, so I didn't put him on my list.
Yeah, it's smart.
But I just wanted to say that I'm sad to see him go too. I expected it, as I've been saying. I think I didn't have a good feeling about it, and I feel like I already had kind of developed this feeling by reading the comic of after like Lori died, I was like, oh my God. And then they would kill off somebody else, Dale. And I'm like, okay, I feel like one of the people in this group now where I'm being desensitized to these deaths. And so, as each one happens, I'm less impacted by it, just as you might be if you were actually living in this world,
Right.
And so I'm sad, but I'm almost sad that I'm not sadder. I am sad, but I wish I didn't cry, and I kind of wish I would have now.
I felt kind of like I did after the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But nothing bad happened in that episode.
No, nothing. It was a wedding.
Yeah, it was fine.
And the bread were red.
It's just a sad wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I do my number one?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So it was just hints about what's next. That whole thing I did already about where everyone was, I was going to put in this number one, just to kind of give an idea of where the pieces are positioned on the board. But also I thought it was interesting that Bob didn't want to accept Sasha's thanks. And it seems like he is down on himself and doesn't feel deserving. And I think that's going to lead to some real tragedy at some point in the show, because he just has this stink of things get messed up when I'm around him.
Yeah.
And then, that was it. I guess I already covered it. Just everyone's separated. And so like last season at the mid-season break, I was like, all right, there's going to be a war next season. And then it got dragged out over 8 episodes, and then it was disappointing. This time, I think there's a lot of stuff left to unpack, like what's going on with the rats and Lizzie, and now they're away from the prison. Like, what? That's a total unknown.
Yes.
I think it's going to be really exciting, and I'm really excited about it. And I hope it doesn't have the typical Walking Dead curse where half of the season is just okay and then the other half is amazing. Because this half I've really liked a lot. So
good.
I want to like the second half.
Yeah. I agree.
So that's it. Let's see. Notes. You have notes?
I do.
Let's hear it.
I have a zombie that I loved in this episode, especially. It was the mud zombie.
Yeah.
The mud zombie on the
under the flash flood sign
that bites Megan. I guess he was being held down by the flash flood sign. Hard to know.
Yeah, I think he was just laying dormant in the mud and got
activated when she kind of dug the sign out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was great when the hand came up.
We
out
were
of the
joking
mud.
about it last week, saying we thought it was a manhole, and we were like, there's zombies under there. And it turns out there was.
There was, actually. Yeah, I like that a lot. I was furious at Lily for being on top of the RV and not insisting that Megan come up on the top of the RV too. I would never let my kid play in the woods next to where walkers might just come out and get them.
So if you had a child in the zombie apocalypse, would you just have them right next to you all the time?
Yes, until they're about 16 years old. They're in a baby Bjorn. Kevlar Bjorn. And weren't those little girls kind of scary, by the way?
Yeah.
I mean, little girls can be scary anyway. But
I think that Lizzie's sister has the look of a girl that would be possessed in a horror movie. She's creepy looking in a cute way. Cute, creepy.
Hello, zombie. Mika, or is that her name?
Mika, yeah.
Yeah, funny though. I also really am interested to see where Judith is. Is Judith still alive? How pretty is Georgia? If I had a baby, I'd name her Georgia. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. So I thought it was interesting when Lily was saying, can't we just find another safe place? And the governor said, any place that's safe, really safe, somebody's already there, which just made me think, oh, maybe there's a bunch of like bunkers and military complexes and things like that people are there in this world.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Maybe we'll come upon some of those. One thing I was a little confused about, Herschel says that it could work to live together, and the governor says it could have, but not after Woodbury, not after Andrea. What does he mean by that?
Yeah, not after Andrea. Who knows?
I thought the only thing I could think was...
He killed Andrea.
Yeah, that's what I first thought. And the look on Michonne's face was like, don't you mention her. But I guess he felt like she betrayed him when she went back to the prison and he like hunted her down. I don't know.
Like they made him kill her?
I guess. I don't know. At some point, the governor said that the prison was north off of Highway 34. So I looked that up, and Highway 34 is a fairly short stretch of highway south of Atlanta, and the Coweta County Prison is off of it. So maybe they're locating it there. Glenn said to Maggie, our anniversary's coming up. She said, oh yeah. And he goes, one of these days. And so that just made me wonder if anyone has kept track of the days, because it would be impossible pretty much. I mean, unless you made a real focused effort
to keep track of days.
You wouldn't have. Yeah.
I don't know. Rick still wears a watch, I think. Or maybe, no, he doesn't wear a watch.
And even if you did, like your watch says 7:30, what is that? How does that help?
Yeah, he was wearing a watch until pretty recently when he gave it to the
Okay,
guy.
He's wearing his watch. He looks down, sees his watch. How does that help?
Well,
him
maybe
know what day
maybe
it is?
the watch has a day, month thingy.
Got it. That's true.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
But no, I think the point of this was that Glenn doesn't really know what day it is.
Right.
But that made me think, does anyone? I was glad to see that Glenn and Sasha still looked really sick, because if they didn't, then it would be stupid.
Yep.
So that was good. But I wonder if the sickness is over, or if it's something that they're still going to have to deal with. Or maybe it's like the winter flu. It just passes after a while.
Right.
You know? I liked the opening sequence, how the governor is persuading, maybe not so effectively, but anyway, how they did, where he's trying to talk his people into taking the prison, and that's interspersed with showing him kidnapping Michonne and Herschel. Yes. They've been doing stuff like that where they take a scene that might be kind of static and intersperse it with something else,
which I like.
It's cool. And right when he tells his crew that he kidnapped Herschel and Michonne, that's when it showed it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When Michonne said, I'm going to kill you to the governor, then I feel like we should have known right away that Michonne was going to kill the governor. I should have been like, oh, she's going to kill him. And what else? When he told her Penny was already dead, I know that now. It seemed like he was sincere, but I'd like to think that that was all just a ruse, and that he was going to use her to try and take the prison, and then he was going to lock her away and go in and do bad stuff to her. Mm-hmm. Just not because I want to see that, but just because the governor is
such
devious
a psycho.
And psycho. I loved seeing the zombie go out into the river and get swept away.
Oh man, I guess I can't swim. Yeah, poor zombie.
I liked when Herschel called him the governor. He said, "Don't call me that." That was interesting. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Very good.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
So AMC announced just today or yesterday that Walking Dead is set to return on Sunday, February 9th.
Yeah, I saw that.
On Talking Dead, which I didn't see, apparently Andrew Lincoln said the second half would be, quote, the boldest, bravest, and most exciting this show has ever attempted.
They always say that.
I know. It's funny it says ever attempted, like as if maybe they didn't succeed. And Kirkman said, not only have these people lost Herschel, they lost the prison, but they also lost each other. They're out on their own. They're in different groups. There's going to be a lot going on with these different people as they try to survive in the next half of the season. So that makes me feel like they're going to be apart for a while too,
right.
AMC has announced 2 more shows that I thought were kind of interesting. One's called Knife Man and one's called Galantine. This is from an article on Deadline.com. Inspired by the biography of John Hunter by Wendy Moore called The Knife Man, Blood, Body Snatching, and the Birth of Modern Surgery. Knife Man is set in 18th century London. It tells the story of a charming, arrogant, decorum-breaking genius who challenges societal norms to transform his visions into cutting-edge discoveries. A surgeon or barber in a time when bloodletting and praying was the norm, John Tattersall is a hard-drinking, hard-living man not afraid to push the boundaries of modern medicine, even if it takes digging up a few graves to do it. While he makes his living running an unlicensed operating theater out of his residence, he picks up extra cash harvesting organs for his brother Julian, favorite son and prized physician of the St. Stephen's Teaching Hospital. That doesn't sound good to you?
Actually, it does. And yucky.
I was wondering. Yeah. But I get from the descriptions that it's supposed to be kind of like wickedly, like gross but fun, or like kind of like True Blood. Okay, and then Galantine is rooted in both fantasy and action-adventure and science fiction. In the vein of NBC's Revolution, it takes place at a time after a cataclysmic technology-induced disaster that has resulted in a new society that has eschewed any form of technology. So it's another post-apocalyptic thing.
It sure is.
That seemes weird.
It eschews any type of technology?
Yeah.
They're a bunch of, what do you call those?
Amish. Cavemen? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, there's another word. Keep going.
What? All right. So this catastrophic event leaves small numbers of survivors scattered around the planet and forced to adapt to isolation and unique challenges. Greg Nicotero is one of the executive producers, also Ridley Scott. Quote, these are both highly original and ambitious pilots that take us into worlds that we haven't seen on TV before, said Joel Stillerman, AMC's Executive Vice President of Programming, Production, and Digital Content. Quote, the bodiness and fun of Knife Man and London in the mid-18th century and the completely unique take on a post-apocalyptic world in Galantine are right in AMC's wheelhouse of making television that is both unexpected and unconventional. I can't imagine they'd put on a show about post-apocalyptic unless it was very different, because that sounds just like Revolution for one thing.
Right.
And they've already got a post-apocalyptic show.
Yes, they sure do. Luddites.
Luddites, that's what you're thinking, yeah. Okay. This is from an interview with Scott Wilson for entertainmentweekly.com, on entertainmentweekly.com. They say, I spoke to you when you were filming episode 405 this summer and asked you about working with all the different showrunners over the years, and you told me the following, quote, you don't know when your number will be called, but ultimately it will be called. And that's probably the showrunner I will like least. Because I like being here. So I don't know when it will be, but whoever it is, just remember, I will like you least. They say, so I guess that means you like Scott Gimple the least, right? Scott Wilson says, no, that's not true. I didn't know at the time. I thought I was making a joke, and the joke was on me. It's a very tough position for him to be in, and let's face it, they gave me some great episodes there before they did take me off, so I'm appreciative of that. I have a world of respect for Mr. Gimple. He says, they say, you mentioned you didn't know yet when you were filming episode 5, so when and how did you get the news of your impending fate? He says, actually, I found out right after that episode, which was kind of ironic, and I kind of truthfully expected it after episode 403 when Herschel had this great speech about risking your life and what you're risking it for. I had a suspicion then. And then when I read 405, that really confirmed my suspicion in a way, but I wasn't officially told until after we finished shooting 405. They say, did you plead with the producers for a stay of execution like Rick pleaded with the governor? Wilson says, I guess Gimple, called me into his office and I went in and talked to him. He explained to me that I was going. I said to him, I think you're making a big mistake, but it's yours to make, and I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. Someone from the show was going to go. I would not want to be the one to make the decision that he had to make there, and I respect him for how he told me, and I'm grateful for the scenes and episodes they gave me before they took me off, so it's all good. They say, or good enough, I suppose. Tell me about filming of your last scene. What was the atmosphere like around the set? He said, it was really quite moving to me because I came on the set and everybody from the cast and crew that were there in town were all on the set, and they were wearing suspenders because Herschel wears suspenders.
Aww.
And I came onto the set to applause, and it was really quite moving. It was fun to see people that I worked with every day had so much appreciation for my involvement with them on the show. It's interesting, too. The first episode I ever did, Ernest Dickerson directed. The episode where I lost my leg, he directed. And then he took my head. So there was a symmetry to it.
Aww.
They say, whenever a cast member dies, they get their big death dinner. How was yours? Yes, we had a death dinner, and it was touching and moving. You know, I wasn't the only one that died that episode. The governor died, and David Morrissey did a fantastic job, and I loved working with him. The badder he was, the more meaningful it was to take me out, so he delivered big time. I'm reading all this because I think their answers are all interesting. They said Herschel had that smile on his face right before the end as he's listening to Rick try to find common ground with the governor. Why is that? I think that was really a culmination of the first scene that Rick and Herschel had together on the front porch of Herschel's farm, talking about the world and about disease and about the place of man in the new order of things. And really, that's kind of a theme that went through the 2.5 seasons I was on the show. Where do you stand? Where's the humanity in this situation? Where do you keep your humanity? And that was a recurring theme with Herschel and Rick. So I think basically he was hearing some of what he had been imparting to Rick or exploring with Rick coming out of his mouth. And at that moment, so it made him feel that Rick got it, that he saw what was going on. And that Herschel's legacy would be carried on by Rick and the rest of the people, even if he was not there. Some ideas are maybe stronger and can survive the person that is going. So I think that was what was going on in Herschel's mind. They say, describe for me the bizarre sensation of watching someone slash your neck on TV. That has to be an odd thing to watch. He says, it's even odder to have your head in a closet in a bag. And I do have my head in a bag in the closet.
Ew.
They gave it to you? Yeah, so that's even stranger. I believe Greg Nicotero and his group made a head for that episode, and they made an extra one for me. What do you do with something like that? He says, well, you put it in a trash bag and you put it in the closet. At least that's what I did.
To scare that crap out of your cleaning woman.
This is from Scott Gimple at HollywoodReporter.com. There's a few hints of things to come here, so if you avoid all spoilers, you should skip to the next chapter now. So they ask him, this season has been criticized for telling the same story as season 3. Why not, on this very podcast, by the way?
Yeah.
Why not start the season with this conflict and avoid what's been labeled as repetitive story? He said, I hadn't heard the repetitive charge so much. We wanted to fulfill those 2 governor stories, plus this last episode was very much about a man struggling with who he was going to be and finally being defined as who he was going to be by his actions. Rick was someone who was trying desperately to become another person as well, and when he extends that offer to the governor, which takes everything for him to do, to essentially join him at the prison, that was the end of that story. Both those storylines featured all the characters fulfilling their stories, and that took 8 episodes. I don't really understand what he's